Health coaches, your stories have the power to profoundly change lives. And I am so excited to introduce our special guest, nutrition coach Nikki, who has taken her story of how she's overcome bloating, brain fog, fatigue, mainly because of a diagnosis of PCOS, and has used that to create a powerful health coaching practice. But not only that, how profound, simple, sustainable solutions are. It's not complicated, and her niche and of busy moms and helping them has had profound, incredible results, helping people with things that they struggled with for years. And yet, these simple solutions that she had to find out the hard way are just what is needed to not only help these people, but for her to create a powerful health coaching practice that she absolutely adores. So, with that, welcome, Nikki.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me, Dr. Shaunna.
I am so excited to chat with you. I really love how you're a hands-on coach, how you are really going, and taking a stand for your clients, and how you really help them, practically and mindset and in all ways. But take us back to where this started. Like, what were you doing before you became a health coach? Tell us a little bit about your story, some things that you were struggling with. Where were you at? What was life like for you?
So back in my mid-20s, I was a gym manager for about 10 years, and I really loved the idea of exercise and taking care of my body. Back then I was really, really, really fit compared to, like now. But I was really, really, really fit, and I never was really like interested in other aspects of health other than just the exercise piece.
Yeah.
I don't know why I had this one track mind, but I did, and I really liked the way I felt, and I really liked the way that I looked, and that's really all that mattered to me back then, as a young 20-something-year-old. So I was never really health conscious. I didn't really have a great diet. I was really reliant on like boxed foods, canned soups. I loved partying. I loved my Tito's and vodka and lime on the rocks. That was my thing. And I never really focused much on like vegetables or anything like that. It just wasn't like the way I was raised, and it wasn't anything, like I said before, I didn't really have much focus on. And then ultimately, when I became a mom, things kind of shifted, and I'll get into that later on today when we chat. But we just kind of I was really just focused so much on keeping my head above the water as a mom, and I was really honing in more on health and nutrition and what a healthy lifestyle looked like for myself and also for my family.
Yeah, it's not uncommon where people, if we're not fat or obese, for example, that we think that we're healthy, and that not necessarily, right? And so, and so, yet we think, well, if I'm exercising, that's what health looks like. And there is a population out there that at some point in time doesn't really realize, you make the connection of like, we are what we eat, literally. And so tell us a little bit about, okay, so you're on, you're fine, like outwardly you look healthy, because of the fitness. Now we add on the pressure of children and things like that. And maybe there was a point in time that was even before that, that your health started to kind of like, all of a sudden it's time to pay the price for all of that convenient food and, the lack of attention to that. So tell us kind of like your health journey, and then what led you to say, okay, I want to help people with their health. I want to be a health coach, because you went from really being exercise focused and now you're a nutrition coach, Nikki. So tell us a little bit, and of course you believe in exercise as well, but tell us a little bit about that transition over. What happened? What was kind of the last straw where like, what happened to you?
I was on a lot of medications for every symptom and problem that I had. So I was kind of like already at a point where I was like, this can't, there has to be another way. There has to be another way. And I was diagnosed with PCOS when I was 16 years old, making it I was told it was supposed to be really difficult for me to get pregnant, have children, if at all. And so that obviously was discouraging. But like I was young back then, I wasn't thinking about children. As I was getting older, starting thinking about, starting a family and having children, I was like, well, what am I supposed to do if birth control is the only answer to this PCOS problem that I have? Like, how am I supposed to create a family and have
Yeah.
children? How's that going to work? So that my mind started thinking like that way, like what am I supposed to do with that? So that was one thing. The other thing was that my focus, my attention span was very, very poor. And I was diagnosed with ADHD at a pretty young age, like in around like college time. And so I was on another medication yet for that. My acne and skin flare-ups were really bad, so I was on another medication for that. And I was really just tired of the way I felt on the medication, like on it and then off, and when I wasn't on it. It was almost like it was like addicting in some way, and it truly bothered me. So I really hit my mental rock bottom like around after that time when I was like all of a sudden I was like hanging on to all this weight I couldn't get rid of. I was like getting bloated after eating things. I had a lot of gut troubles, and mood swings was a really big thing for me. Like I was like kind of irritable, like it was just like a big mess of things, and
Yeah.
my cycles weren't regular at all either, so that was another thing. So what really made me want to become a health coach was that I just wanted to make after after figuring this all out for myself, after making, different food and lifestyle shifts and doing this naturally, cutting out triggering foods that caused inflammation and gut troubles, um, realizing that my eating habits were working against me.
Yeah.
I realized that I wanted to help other women see through this, and so that they didn't have to struggle through all of the years of guessing what was wrong with them or what they needed to do, or the feeling of frustration that I suffered with for all those years, especially as a young adult. It was really hard to have a stress-free life with all of this kind of hanging over me.
Yeah. No, I think and I appreciate that. So like all of a sudden, everything's kind of spinning out of control. And then for you to say, okay, like, you know, the way my lifestyle, my eating habits are working against me, not for me, and so I can't keep going on like that. And so you're like, okay, so what can I do? And to clean it up and to really look at, and I think that was like the thing that was the turning point there is when you started to look at, okay, well, what foods are triggering inflammation and what foods are leading to my gut troubles. And so to like to unwind that and getting to the root cause. I know your business is it Reroot Your Health, I believe. Reroot Your
Yes.
Health. Yeah.
Yes.
And so like that was like the roots of the Reroot Your Health, where you're like, okay, let's get to the root of this and like customize this and like what is the piece that is the offending agent here? And then when you clean that up and you remove the inflammatory foods and you remove the things that were damaging your gut, then I think is that when I believe a few months later you actually got pregnant with your daughter. Is that kind of the time frame that happened for you?
Yes, yes. And it helped with my balance out my hormones and things like that. So yes, I was able to have my miracle baby, Ava, my daughter. And after being told, like I said before, in my teens, I wasn't gonna be able to do that. So that was really, really special.
So huge, right? So like a lot and so there's so many little take home messages from your story. Like a lot of times we're told, you know, what's going to happen with our life. Like you can't do XYZ. And, I've been told that, like, this is not possible. And then we made it possible. Back they told me my dad could not survive his stroke and he walked out of there in 35 days on his own 2 feet. So, and they say you can't have children and now you have your beautiful daughter Ava. So if you're listening to this and you've been told something, maybe, but you have so much more control of it. And maybe if we keep doing what we're doing, yes, maybe that is the result and that's the future. but maybe if we change what we're doing, maybe we can, if we change some of the inputs that we're putting in, maybe we get a different output on the other side of that. And I think you're living proof of that. The other thing I specifically love about your story is you are a busy mom, and but you at the core of what you teach and do is simple, sustainable solutions. It's like simple things that anybody can do, even a busy mom with a crazy busy lifestyle, and they're sustainable. Like it's not like a fad, it's not like a trend, and it's a solution. Like it really does work. And I think for the people that you're helping, that's exactly what they need. Because if it's complicated or time consuming, they're not going to be able to do it because it's just the reality of it. And I think that is the truest gift. And you, as I said at the beginning, it's really about taking kind of the pain that you had to go through and alchemizing it into this purpose driven practice that you get to have and that becomes soul satisfying. So who is it that you are passionate about helping now, Nikki? Who is it that you're keen to help, and what are you keen to help them with?
So my focus is helping busy moms like myself, uh, help them get rid of the bloating, the stubborn belly fat, and helping them make healthy eating more simple so they can actually find the time to do the things that they truly love.
Yeah, really helping people like that were in your shoes before, because you've been there and you know what it's like firsthand. What do you love best about? I personally believe health coaching is the best career on the planet. You get to work with who you want, when you want, how you want, where you want. When done right, it can be phenomenal. A lot of people aren't necessarily doing that, but it has the potential to be like the best career ever. What are some of the things that you love best about being a health coach?
Yes, definitely the freedom and the flexibility of being a health coach, of being my own boss, and then also being working around my daughter's schedule. Like that's really, really important to me because not only do I get to be present for my daughter and for my family, but also for myself and for my clients. Like the balance and being able to create that schedule is definitely really important to me. And also I love the teaching moments. Like I love being able to educate on different health topics and nutrition topics and different habits, simple sustainable habits and solutions for people's lifestyle. Like I love educating and people about that.
Yeah, and I think that as health coaches, teaching is kind of one of the things that we love to do. So we love to teach, we love to heal, and it's why I like being able to give workshops and things like that. And for me, I think a lot of healers are teachers at heart, and I mean, often we try and we were teaching even at a young age and that. And I think I remember you sharing a story about that, like how like you kind of always have loved to teach in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, yeah. Back when in first grade, my best friend and I, Rachel, we used to play school and teacher and have like our students, for hours. And I remember it like it was like yesterday. And we always wanted to be teachers. And ironically, fast forward to our adult life, and she is in fact a school teacher now. And I feel like in some way I'm also a teacher, like you mentioned, as a health coach and nutritionist, because uh I get to teach women how to, eat real food and enjoy their life and still feel good. And that's really important to me because I love watching my clients build their confidence again and so that they can come back to themselves and really, really enjoy their life again.
I love that you shared that. It brings back memories of me and my friend Janice, when my best friend Janice, when I was little, and we used to play school as well. And I think, part of creating this adult business that we have now is kind of like at the roots of that. There were some things that we did as kids that we liked. And like for some people, it's they danced and then we incorporate that. Or for some people, it was it was sports or athletics, and then that has an ingredient. And for a lot of people, it was teaching. There was something in there that you're like, hey, I have this ability. I have a natural aptitude. Not everybody is wanting to be a health coach, but sometimes there was some seeds planted, and in that childlike innocence there, like some of those things are like, I kind of like doing this. It kind of feels good to help somebody in this way, show them what something that I learned. So I love that, and maybe you can resonate with that. Pop in the chat if that sounds like you love to teach and you love to coach, and it's kind of this is a nice natural alignment. What is something, Nikki, that you were maybe struggling with when you were trying to create like the actual, adult health coaching business now? Before you came to the Health Professional Academy, what was something that you're like, man, if I could just find a way to do this? Tell us a little bit what you were struggling with as you tried to actually take this dream of yours and bring it into a reality.
Yeah. My biggest thing was honing in on my niche. So
Hmm.
who I was going to help, my target audience. Uh, I I got out of health coaching school and I was like, I just want to help everyone. I want to help
Yeah.
everyone. I can help everyone. Like I had all this like newfound confidence. Um, and I realized that I ended up helping nobody with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Because it was literally just like it was silence, it was crickets. It was like I wasn't attracting the right people.
Yeah.
Or it was maybe sticky or difficult
Yeah.
for the people that I was working with. So I that was really a huge thing that THPA definitely helped me hone in on more my niche, my target audience, who I need to talk to, helping me kind of like package up a nice little like a nice system in place to help me with my clients that are good for me.
Yeah.
So I wasn't, then I started getting more clear and finding more clarity on who I needed to talk to, how I needed to post on my social media, because that was another thing. I was just kind of like spinning my wheels on Instagram, not really sure what to post and sharing just like all over the map. And so Dr. Shaunna, definitely you have given me a structure and definitely a clear path how to kind of do this in a way that where you're not burning out. You have answers on what to say to clients and what not to say to clients that maybe
Yeah.
so that definitely has been beneficial for me for sure.
Yeah. I I know the journey, and because I did it myself when I was a health coach, and struggling to create my practice, and it takes a little bit. And after the fact, it seems obvious, like as you hear this story unfold. Well, of course, that's what her niche is, but you might be struggling with yours, and it's not obvious. And it's sometimes so that's why we apply our story gold mining process to kind of like extract your genius, and what are the things that light you up, and what are the things that you love to do. And so if you're out there as a health coach and you're struggling to figure out, okay, like what is my niche? I'm going to put a link. If you don't already have it, I'm going to give you a free copy of my book, Six Figure Health Coach. It's a link. Take a look. It goes through about the process of carving out your niche. So my gift to you, check out, we have some links there to help you on your journey if you're like, this I want to do my version of this. Um, but it's a worthwhile, journey, because as I say, I think health coaching is one of the best, careers on the planet that you can have. How have you grown, Nikki, as a person, or improved just through this entire process of becoming a health coach and setting up your own business? What are some of the benefits that you've seen personally with yourself?
Definitely my confidence in
Mhm.
my not only myself and what I know and what I share, but also the ability to help other people. That was definitely something that I've grown. It has grown in me tremendously is my confidence, um, and also my boundaries that I set for myself and for my business. Because for a while before meeting up with Dr. Shaunna, my business and life and everything was just all this big mess, and it was all interweaved into each other, and it was sorry, I get very emotional.
It's okay. That's okay. I,
It,
I
it
know.
it it hits home. So you know, things like my marriage have improved, my energy has improved.
Yeah.
I found more clarity like just in myself, like I said, my confidence and even like my personality. I'm able to like actually like actually be myself, if that makes sense, and just kind of like let my personality show. And that's important because I didn't realize for all these years I was kind of a shell of myself, and I was like kind of hiding behind um like all of my achievements and all of these things that
Yeah.
I know, and that imposter syndrome sets in and stuff. So the confidence for sure has definitely improved. My boundaries and my energy
Yeah.
definitely has improved. So
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And that is what happens when you get to the root cause of the dis-ease in your business. Everything gets better. Much like when as health coaches, you guys get to the root cause of the problem and rather than the quick fix band-aid solutions, what we're talking about here is, well, in my first book, A Free to Heal, I'll put a link to that one as well down there, but that's soul satisfying. It's the thing that is the thing that you it's like you were meant to do. And then when you look back with 2020 hindsight, like when you look back, you're like, I think all of these steps were leading me to this moment here. But it can get pretty messy there in that process. And um, even just setting up hours of operation, I say, be surgical with your time, get in and then get out. And so, like, when you're working on your business, work on your business and set those times at non negotiable times because you can definitely build your practice in part time in the pockets of your time. You just can never build it spare time. It just never happens. And so as a busy mom or, a busy doctor, there is no spare time. So if we kind of push this off, it gets pushed off to a someday that never comes. And then we had this dream and then we never actually fulfill on it. And so setting just that time is huge that we're working on it. But then when you're with your family, it's with your family. And we don't let that clients and that sort of invade in there. And then it gets better, like for everybody. And you learn and you grow, and then everything gets better. Like your health improves. It's very healthy for you to express what you were meant to do, like to be in alignment with your purpose here. So healthy. And I think that's what people spend like a lifetime trying to find that, but it's so much more fun when you tap into it and you fully express who you're meant to be. And otherwise, if you're like, a square peg in a round hole, like for me as a doctor, I was a medical doctor for 25 years. That was a necessary step in my evolution, but still it was not right. And then it feels like toxic. And you're like, wait a minute, this is not where I'm supposed to be. I could be there. Can I do it? I can, but it's not. And like to have the courage to kind of step fully into your calling, it's a lot. But when you do, everything gets better as you are a testament to. And so it's nice to thank you for sharing because people know when you're in that like phase in the middle, you think it will never get better. And so, and now that, you're seeing these improvements in just different aspects of your life, there is no finish line. We're always getting better. We're on the journey. There is no, it's not a race. There is no deadline. I mean, ultimately there is a deadline, but there really is no finish line to this. We're always getting better. But if you had to go back and say and tell your former self, a piece of advice or that, what would be your take home message? What would be some advice that you would love to share, with your former self?
that's it's a hard one, but it's an easy one because I would tell my former self to stop ignoring the signs and stop waiting for the perfect time to start doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Um, and this even not only does this apply to your life, but it also applies to your business
Yeah.
because there's never like a perfect time. There's never going to be a perfect time to start,
Yeah.
but if you just have to start. You just have to start. It has to be. It may be messy, but you just have to start, and you'll just feel so much better about that. And like I said, even in my business, the same rules apply. Like just start. There's some things that I still struggle with. I have to just do it. Just begin. Just
Yeah.
stop waiting for the perfect time to start.
I think that's perfect. And I remember you sharing once, start small, start messy, but start. And
Yeah.
and we can because we can get in that analysis paralysis that they say and waiting for a perfect time. And it's one of the reasons why in the Health Professional Academy, I really like working with people for a year.
Mhm.
Because because then we can ensure like some really great success, but also we know that stuff is going to happen for everybody this year. I mean, just take a look at last year. Everybody think back all the stuff that happened last year, or even the last two, right? Lots of stuff happened. So if we wait until there's a year that is just perfect and everything's just working well, then we know this is never going to happen. And whether it's a business, we know your business is never going to stand. It's never going to happen. And with your health, if we keep pushing that off till someday, that never comes. And so, but we know that if from our perspective, when we're helping people with their business, that if we can help you through the crazy, busy, messy, challenging times, that we know that once things ease up, your business is just going to soar. And likewise, as Nikki helps people through the crazy, busy, like mom years, helping people is crazy and nothing's working and they're busy and they have no time, then if she can help you through that, then when things ease up, you're just going to soar, and you will have simple, sustainable solutions. And it's an absolute game changer. So yeah, start small, start messy, but start. I love that. Nikki, one of my favorite questions to ask, because we help people get to the root cause, and we know when we do that, there's so many spin-off benefits. Give an example or two of, where you're helping clients, they're coming to you for this thing, but then we get these other spin-off benefits that have happened because you get to the root cause. And I think it kind of gives an example of like how you work with people too, and what are some of the results that they have.
Yeah. So a lot of my clients, some things that happen with my clients is they've gotten their cycles back. So they've gotten their periods back. They've slept better, or they started sleeping. They lost the 15 pounds, that last 15 pounds they want to lose,
Yeah,
that wouldn't budge. That was a big one. But even bigger than that, there was other things like just being more patient with your children, showing up more for your family, making more time for yourself, and understanding that time is or making time for yourself is not necessarily a luxury, but it's a practical thing,
sure. Yeah,
especially as busy moms. So, and that's it goes beyond just like going and getting your nails done and getting your hair done. I think it's more of just like being with yourself and just
hmm,
having that time to yourself,
yeah,
whether it's in prayer, whether it's just outside in nature, whatever that looks like for you. And also another thing is like beginning their hobbies. So I've had clients that have been wanting to do like different projects, different hobbies, different things like starting sewing or crocheting or scrapbooking or whatever it may be. And they've gotten their time back to be able to do that.
yeah,
So that's invaluable in itself, because it's a way that will not only again helps prioritize yourself, but also your family too, because if you could show up for yourself, you could show up bigger and better for your family and the people around you.
yeah, yeah. I love it. So I love that, and it's so important with to for the old adage, put your own oxygen mask on first. And we as moms, we're naturally wanting to put our children first, and you will, but the way to really put your children first is to take care of yourself, because if we don't take care of you and you're exhausted and you're snapping at your kids, and and or not, eating healthy, or you have health challenges yourself, you're not actually being a great role model, and you're not actually putting your kids first. And so by one, you're kind of putting your kids, they're not getting the best that they could. And so tell us about some examples, because I think that really brings it home. And like I know a lot of women will come to you and they'll be like just overwhelmed, they're exhausted, and that tell us about it, an example of like where some of these, like how does that work? Like they came here and then this is what happened. Just tell us one or two examples there.
Yeah, well, I had a client that came to me. She was really overwhelmed and tired all the time, and she was bloated after eating. She didn't know like why her stomach felt that way, like after she ate certain foods and stuff. And she also was snapping at her kids all the time. And obviously, like I could relate to that. Like I've definitely been there before. I'm sure most of us have. But what we did first was we worked on two specific things that were really simple to do. And the first one is balancing her meals. So So a common thing, which isn't a normal thing, but a common thing that happens is we wake up in the morning and the first thing we do is drink our coffee.
Mhm.
So what we did was we swapped that out before the coffee, before, anything else, we're going to load up on what I call PFF. So protein, fiber, and fat. So filling your plate with that and having a nice nutritious meal first thing in the morning before your coffee. That's going to help with our energy. It's going to help with weight overall, and a lot of more than that, but hormones as well. The second thing we focused on was working out and getting her exercise in like 3 times a week. So for her, that looked like a light workout at home in her at home basement
Yeah.
gym, and then also just walking. So 3 times a week, it was doable for her. She fit it into her day. Sometimes it was in the morning, sometimes it was in the evening time, and it was only 30 minutes a day. So I mean, it was just simple things that helped her get her energy back and just help her feel better overall. A few weeks later, she had, reported back, and she didn't realize how much patience she actually had acquired and what had changed in her until her daughter came up to her and was like, asked her for something, and she was like, she the my client, the mother's response was very calm and like it was different, and the child noticed and was like, mommy, like you didn't yell at me for asking for this, and like my client was very she kind of was like did like a deep reflection, and when she was telling me, it was very emotional for her at the time, because it was something that she wanted to show up as her best self for her kid, and
Yeah.
and her children, but she realized that it was more than just about the food that she was eating and, changing her breakfast and things like that. It was that she was actually finally feeling like the mom that she wanted to be, for a long time. That was just kind of sitting behind her, rather than embodying her.
Yeah, I mean that's huge, right? And for uh your your kids are watching you all the time. And so
Mhm.
how worthwhile was it to go on that journey and for the child, and then that's also role modeling for your child another way to be that is not all like hectic and snapping and cranky and irritated and reactive. It's like showing up like you'd really like to be. But when your hormones are all messed up, when you're starving yourself, when you skip breakfast, when you deny yourself your own well-being, your own nourishment. And so really starting them, I like your PFF. So it's easy for them to remember. Like there's not a lot of like, they don't have to like read a whole encyclopedia or take a nutrition course or in either a cooking class to be able to do this. It's just like PFF, right? And so it's like it's a way to like, hey, I was a busy mom. This is what I did, and it's not like I knew already how to make these meals. It's something I had to learn. Here's what you need to do. And so like, protein, fiber, fat, like nourish yourself, give yourself half a chance to take on the day, and then everything's going to go smoother. So I love that. I think you had another story you were going to share too.
Yeah. This was a client who she had trouble with cooking. She didn't really know how to cook. She didn't really have she was too tired to cook at the end of the
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
after she got home from work, and she just felt like she was too busy. So she'd resort to takeout a lot. And she told me like, you know, I don't know how to meal prep. I don't want to meal prep. I don't want to do this. Like it's just not for me. And I was like, well, okay, but we're going to shift that. We're going to make this for you but it can look different than, the way I do it. It could
Yeah.
look different for you, but we're going to focus on how we're going to do this. So that's what we did. And we started again, really small, doable steps, actionable steps. And, what we did actually was we started with dinner, because that was one that, dinner's usually a larger meal. It's an easier meal. So for dinner, what we did was we learned how to prep dinner one week together. It was actually on Zoom, like on our weekly meeting. It was an hour. She had me on her computer in her kitchen, and she was doing her prepping with her vegetables and cooking her chicken and her meat, her beef, and we kind of had a good time with it. She was actually a single woman. She didn't have kids, this one. And so it was fun. Like we made it fun. We talked about different things. We laughed a little bit, we learned. And at the end of the day, she had a couple of her dinners prepped out, and it only took within that hour call. And so that was that. And after a few weeks, she sent me a message, and it was a whole spread on her kitchen table of all her glass meal containers and everything. And the caption said, who even am I right now? And I was like so impressed, and I was so proud of her, that she did it all on her own. And it was just, taking the time to really just figure out what is doable for you, and what does that look like for you, and that's what we figured out together.
And it's such a great example of someone like at the beginning, they're like, I'm not that type of person. I don't have time. I don't have the know-how. I'm too busy. I can't do this. And yet her health is suffering as a result of that. And for you, rather than just say, oh, well, too bad for you, taking that opportunity and to really going, okay, like what can I do? And one of the things that I teach the people in the coaches in the Health Professional Academy is focus on excellent results. Get excellent results for your clients. Figure out, what do I need to do that is going to help my client get from where they are to where they want to be. And like, just that is your program, is helping them to do that. And if that means, getting on a Zoom and meal prepping with them, do it. And if it's something you know how to do, and then because if you're able to do that, if they don't know how to do it, well, that's going to be the block. So we got to look at, what is the constraint? Why are they not able to get these results? And it's like, and how can I help them? And then that's a life skill that is huge. And that's exactly what you mean by simple, sustainable solutions, right? It's simple, it's sustainable. She can do this. And then she got her time back, like the time from ordering takeout, the time that from the lack of energy because she was eating that other food. Huge. And so, like, tremendous value that you are offering in the world, Nikki. It's just, incredible. So I really want to honor that. And if people are, and really meeting people where they're at is the other message. So if you're a coach, so if you're someone who's struggling with your health, well, know that it's possible and it doesn't have to be hard or complicated. And I'm going to share in a moment how to get in touch with Nikki. But on the flip side, if you're a coach, make it simple for your clients. And I'm going to link a video up here on how to onboard like a pro to, as Nikki was saying before, how do we package what you do into a way that you can offer it to your clients so that they'll get great results. So I have a video here on how to onboard like a pro so that you can do just that. But Nikki, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I have a website, and my Instagram. So my website is rerootyourhealth.com, and my Instagram is Nutrition Coach Nikki. And that's where you
Awesome.
can find me, and all of my resources and my fun content on Instagram.
Awesome. So reroot your health, REROOT, rerootyourhealth.com. And also Instagram is at Nutrition Coach Nikki, and that's NICKY. Just to make sure people find you. You are doing tremendous work. I love your story. I love how you're making a difference. And there's so many people that can benefit from the value that you bring. And I just want to appreciate and thank you. So thank you, Nikki.
Thanks for having me. This was wonderful.
And as I mentioned, take a look if you are a coach on how to onboard like a pro so that you can help your clients get phenomenal results. And with that, have a fantastic week. And of course, be good for you.